Greetings and salutations, folks. My name is Nick, and welcome back to Forza Motorsport 7, where we are on to the 5th Cup, the Masters Championship. Not necessarily a set at first. Let's take a look at these side activities. Luckily, none of them are endurance races. Let's start with the Ford SVT Cabra Hoonigan Autocross. When it comes to the showroom floor, the 2000 SVT Cabra R was the fastest Mustang ever. You might think of this as a beast, but it's actually a razor blade on wheels when it comes to handling. Okay, I hope that's promising for me.
I'm a huge fan of American muscle. When I came here, I bought my American muscle car before I even bought my house. You get the most bang for your buck with American muscle. I think that's what it's all about. It's about delete, 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 massive engine. Everything else is delete, but just make sure you've got the big V8 engine in it.
All right, he bought his car before he bought it. Well, I mean, that doesn't really say too much. He bought his muscle car before he bought his house. That's more specific. Oh, it's one of these races. Okay. I'm aiming for a target time of 3 minutes, but once again, unlike the truck, I'm in a car that actually has maneuverability, and it doesn't occupy almost half of the road. So I'm not that worried about it. Like, driving the truck through these gates was, like I said before, very tricky. Oh my. Getting, shall I keep that? I'll keep that. I'll just try to be careful from now on. Hitting one gate, I could probably live with. Hitting all of the gates, I probably can't. But I do admit this is definitely requiring a little bit extra. No, I'll definitely not. I'll try to that again, because I am noticing my time. I'm halfway on time, but I'm not halfway on gates, which means either I'm behind or there's a lot of gates just kind of stacked up against each other, like these over here. It presents a very big misconception on how far into the race you are, because of just how many gates are just stacked up against each other. I have less than a minute to finish this race. Okay, this is either going to be tricky or impossible at this point. If it seems 30 seconds left, if it seems like it might be impossible, especially since there's a relatively tight corner coming up. Yeah, let us try this again. I think we're gonna have to try this again, but faster. At 2 minutes and... At 2 minutes and 40 seconds in, we're not going to be able to do it. We're gonna have to actually be a little bit faster from the get-go, rather than taking things more cautionary. And we also are going to have to try to avoid all gates, just with the hope that that'll give us a fighting chance. Because we might actually be cutting it so close that 5 seconds is actually going to mean something. I feel this is faster. Nope. A bit too fast on that one. But overall, I feel as though my time is significantly better this second time around because I'm only at 1 minute and 8 seconds, as opposed to, I think I was at 1 minute and 30 seconds with my first attempt. Nope. No, I went straight. I just plowed that that gate. I think my brain was just kind of like looking at that gate and saying, "Hey, I probably shouldn't just drive straight through it," and then offered my hands no responses. All right, 1 minute and 46 seconds. I think we were at 2 minutes and something. The last time. Yeah, 2 minutes and 10 seconds now. I think we were at like 2 minutes and 30 seconds before. So we are definitely doing better. But are we doing good enough? 2 minutes and 30 seconds now. Two minutes and 40 seconds. Two minutes and 50. Okay, yeah, we'll do it. All right. That was a lot tougher. But we managed. I also noticed that this particular championship offers much greater flexibility in regards to how well I actually do on the sets. Because if I complete out all of these sets, should I say side quests, I'll have a full 800 points of flexibility when it comes to finishing off the races. But then again, the sets are themselves worth more, so maybe I'm calling that part a little bit too soon. Factory spec racing. All right. One of these ones.
The Germans take their engineering and their technology and their quality very seriously. So, you know, any good German car is going to have all those facets. They take how a car works and the pleasure it brings you very seriously. So, you know, you're going to get all of those factors wrapped into a good German car that is going to be well built. It's going to be stylish. It's going to probably have a motorsports history because they love their racing, they love their competition. But it will also be fun to drive and something that the driver will connect with.
All right, let's see how that goes. Car looks cool, I can give it that much. All right, jumped up to 4th, and now we've also got a major turn coming up soon, so maybe we could use that to jump up to 3rd. jump up to second. Although first is unfortunately getting a little bit farther away than I'd like. There are 5 laps there. So maybe I'm calling that part a little bit too soon as well. There we go. No. Yes. Excellent. All right. Definitely bullied our way to first place in this super fast car. I've been driving a lot of slow cars lately. So this is a nice change of pace. Like the muscle cars I drove, the trucks I drove, so like even the Mazda specs I think were no. Right into the sand pits with you, usurper. Of course, my lead is clearly not that big. And it might be a very tough next 4 laps to maintain it. Maybe not. Who knows? Don't know if I actually did that lap or that corner that well. But I am still in the lead, and they still seem to be kind of sort of in the same distance behind me, so at the very least there's that. But yeah, even the Mazda spec doesn't drive quite as fast as this car. We're already at like about 160 max miles per hour. Oh, that was a good turn. All right. I'll take it. All right. A little bit of a longer lap time, considering how many laps they actually want us to do. But I suppose it beats doing an endurance race. So there's that. Excuse me. This is a no passing zone. You're going to have to wait until after the race. Then you're free to pass as much as you want. Yeah, I'm not exactly gaining as much distance as I'd like, but then again, this is a spec race. So it focuses more about the quality of the driver as opposed to the quality of the machine. And the quality of the driver does not seem to be very good at taking on every single turn. Particularly well. We'll deal with that. Not a good turn according to Forza Motorsport 7, but I am still in the lead. Also, I probably shouldn't be looking in my rear view so often. especially when I find myself in areas in these trickier turns and loops. And I feel as though the second place driver is getting a little bit too close. That's okay, we can peel away from him now and gain back our lost distance. I feel as though, like, with this particular track and this particular race, I'm doing a lot better on the early turns and then a lot worse on, like, the last few. Like, especially this upcoming turn is either easier for me to navigate or it's harder for the AI to navigate. I couldn't honestly tell you if that was a good turn or not. But they're not ahead of me, so there's that. Which, I don't know if that's actually a really good metric for racing. I suppose I might find out if that's a good turn, depending on how it affects my split time. Whenever that actually shows up again. Split time is lower. So maybe that's not a good turn. At the very least, I'm not throwing myself into the sand pits with that particular set of turns. And even though the second place driver does a very good job of closing in on the distance towards the end of the race, I am doing a decent job at the very least holding on to that first place, which I'm also hoping is the case for this particular last lap as well. Simply because it would really suck if I went through all 5 of these laps, only to lose my position right at the end. Yeah, taking it a little bit slower than previously. But with any luck, I'll do this particular turn very well. Yes, I think I did that one very well because I am a little bit farther along than I was in other versions of that turn. That turn did not turn out so well. Okay, but still got a pretty strong lead. I wonder if it's because I'm just, like, I could probably take this set of turns with more confidence. And I'm just not doing that. I don't know. Either way. This particular set is about over. I seem to have done well enough to succeed. All right. Now we've got 2 more side quests to complete. What comes next? And I got a 1998 Mercedes-Benz. Oh, there we go. High-speed chase, Nissan Skyline. Past previous generations of Nissan Skylines as you drive a modern Nissan GT-R race car.
You have to win. You have to win. I mean, if you're a brand that basically is associated with racing or being on the track, if you're a performance brand, there's no point going racing if you're not winning.
I mean, you can't just have yourselves a good time. I'm guessing I'm starting off in last. Yep. Oh my gosh. Do I really need to... Do I really need to sit here and watch all these drivers leave the starting line for like 30 seconds? All right. I don't know how well this is gonna go. This might be too much power for me. And not enough straightaways. Let's try that again. I clearly need to start slowing down a little bit more because I'm going... Let's try to bounce off of this car because I feel as though... Wow, no, that's not going to work. That is... Let's try to drive cleanly. Pass you by at the very least. Yeesh. This might be very, very tricky. Yeah. Especially in one lap. I'm going to need to do a much better job if I expect to succeed, especially like getting off of that starting line. All right, let's skip to the starting line. That might have been a better start. Don't know. Or at least I don't remember. Okay, let's try that again. Oh my gosh. Wow, that is way worse. Yeah, this is, I think this might be a little bit... This might be a little bit too tough for me. But we're going to try our best. Let's try to make this turn clean as opposed to doing anything stupid. And then maybe we can pass this person by. Not as quick as we'd like. Yeah, I feel like I'm still on the same pace as my first attempt. Yeah. I'm driving too fast to slow myself down, and too slow to pass these guys up. Like, this race is definitely asking for a certain amount of perfectionism that I don't have. Yeah, and I believe I'm passing this person by at the same point in my previous attempt. Let's try that last turn again. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to get first. Let's see if I can at least get something higher than 6th. 3rd, okay. Okay, so at the very least I'm in 6th place, slightly faster, maybe? Nope, too much grass driving. Grass driving is very bad for your health. Good for cows. Alright. As opposed to, like... Nope, that needs to be done way better if I even want to have a chance. Let's try it again. Let's skip until, like, what I would consider a successful state. There, actually, never mind. That was just one attempt farther. Let's try that one again. I think I'm doing slightly better. I don't know if I'm doing good enough. No. I don't think I'm doing good enough. I don't know if I'm doing good enough to succeed in this. Not with that turn. Let's skip to the successful version of this state. And maybe align myself so I don't crash into the cars I'm trying to pass. Although this does kind of, like, get very narrow. Okay, 2nd, better than 3rd, not good enough.
You're putting yourself under too much strain out there. Ease up on the difficulty until you get your skills to full throttle.
The game's already asking me whether I want to lower the difficulty. If I have to go through this particular track enough times, then maybe I don't know. Alright, that might be a better version of that first turn. Okay, I think these are all slightly better. Good enough for first. That might be the best version of that turn. Alright. I think that could have been done better. Let us... Nope, that's... Ah! Son of a... And now it's too late to rewind. Ah... Alright, attempt something of something. Let's hope for the best. Okay, that might have to do for that turn. That might have been the best version of that turn. Okay. Am I going fast enough to get first? Yes. Oh my gosh. In theory, I could take all of the good turns that I did and then cobble them together in such a fashion that it creates one seamless race. But oh my gosh. This particular challenge required me to thread the needle to such a degree that I'm not normally good enough for. And I don't like it. Like, this car is definitely faster than all the other cars on the track. But that track has a lot of turns. Alright, let's move on for one more. Some vintage GT racing. Head back to the 1950s.
British cars can be defined by clean lines. They like to keep it kind of classy, clean lines. The cars are all evolutions of each other. If you look at the entire Aston Martin lineup throughout history, they have a very consistent design language that has really, really seen its way all the way through to the newest cars.
All right. Let us see how this goes. Everybody driving their old-timey vehicles. First turn is to the right. Let's try to go to the right side of this car. Okay, 1 out of 6. Wow. A lot of laps for this race. Let's try not to rewind, only because, like, I spent the entire previous set just constantly rewinding. And we've got 6 laps to go, or should I say 5.5 at this point. So, to start rewinding from the get-go, that's probably a little bit too soon. Especially since we could use a lot of these tight corners as a means of hopefully catching up and overtaking. So I don't know if we're actually going to be able to catch up with him in this set of turns, but maybe with any luck. The next set. All right, first lap is done. On to the second lap of 6. Actually, don't even have to wait for the turn, it looks like. I mean, not a particularly well-executed turn, but we are now in the lead. I just have to hold this for almost 5 laps. Which I suppose I could probably use as a little bit more practice in regards to properly taking turns, but it would be nice if these were faster cars, because I feel as though faster cars are the vehicles that I need more of the practice for, whereas this vehicle drives about, and like I've been averaging between 60 to 100 miles per hour. Oh, wait, hold on. Looks like its maximum is actually a little bit higher than 100, about like 110. Still a little bit on the slower side. Like this, if this was closer to what I was driving just in the previous race, hell, I don't even think I even looked as to what the max speed was on the previous race. Then again, if we were all driving that fast of a vehicle, this track would definitely be at breakneck speeds. And would make a lot of these turns very, very stressful. But it is still the thing that I need more practice in. Actually, max speed of 140 miles per hour. Although I suppose that's that shows exactly the limitation of more complex tracks. Is even though this car does have a relatively higher max speed, because there are so many points, so many choke points, so many parts of the race that are meant to slow you down, you don't necessarily get to exercise that max speed that often. Or am I calling that too soon? What I really should be saying is that because there are so many points that slow you down, that means that only a higher skilled racer would really be able to exercise that top speed more often. And clearly that high-skilled racer is not myself, nor the AI. And I'll take it because I'm still in the lead. And also because, like I said previously, I'd like to avoid as many rewinds in this track, simply because of how much I exercised it in the last one. Like, in the last track, it felt as though every single turn needed it because of how small the room for error was. Like, the other racers just had such a heavy head start, combined with how fast you had to go in order to catch up. Plus, also, I finally did this turn somewhat decently. Plus, how well you needed to tackle those corners in order to maintain that speed. It definitely made every turn feel as though I needed a breakout. A little bit of rewind. And when I say a little bit, I actually mean a lot. But also, now I'm not in last place. One thing I mentioned earlier is that I feel as though I do a much better job holding on to my lead, not quite as good of a job acquiring it. Which I suppose you could say that I'm better at defensive driving on the track versus offensive. Largely because offensive driving requires a little bit more skill in regards to, like, if you're expecting to catch up with anybody ahead of you, you have to rely on a few things. You have to rely on the person making mistakes, but you also have to rely on your, but you can't really rely on that because you are not in control of their vehicle. The only things you can rely on are how fast you're going, and how well you are navigating these turns. How well you bounce back from losing speed. Whereas, like, when you're in front, you still want to maintain, you still want to be going as fast as you can, but there are things you can do. If somebody is behind you, you can block them off. If somebody is passing you by, you can use them as a means of reacquiring your status. If they are way ahead of you, you cannot necessarily do that. Well, obviously you can't. It's not even necessarily. My own manner of bullying my way up to the front is not going to work if the next driver up has got like a 10-second lead or so. The only way I can really do that is by navigating these turns faster, so that, not necessarily faster, but cleaner. so that I'm not losing speed. So that when that turn becomes a straightaway, I am already driving quickly. Which would then, in theory, allow me to catch up with whoever's ahead of me. But that also navigates a much more finer line in regards to how much speed you're willing to lose to take that turn. I think I talked about this earlier in regards to comparing this game to Mario Kart. Is that, like, with Mario Kart, every driver, you don't switch drivers when you go from cup to cup, more often than not. You pick your favorite driver and you go with it. So by the time you get to those harder cups, you get to those 100cc races, 150cc races, you're more familiar with the handling, the acceleration, the max speed of these vehicles. Whereas Forza is all over the place, and purposely so. You're expected to be the versatile driver who drives all the different vehicles, including ones from the 1950s. To the point in which everything has a much different, every vehicle has its own handling, its own acceleration, top speed. So you're kind of almost always learning on the fly when you're playing this game, for the first time. If you were playing this with a more competitive angle, which in theory is always the angle, you're always competing, but if you were playing it to compete with people online as opposed to just experiencing the game, then you would probably be more likely to select a vehicle that you're more often to use. One thing that I haven't done is I haven't done any of the open sets where I can bring any car with me. I would imagine if you would try to take more of a competitive turn, maybe you would spend more time doing the open sets so that you can pick your favorite vehicle. You can compete. That way you get more practice. But as somebody who's just kind of taking a tour through Forza Motorsport 7, just hop in the car and hope for the best. In the meantime, though, now that we've got these side quests taken care of, got any suggestions for something to play next? Leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have yourselves a good night.